Welcome to Millenia. I am your host here today, the Millennium Mailman. Be ye an entity of any of the well-known coils, man, woman, child, spirit, creature, or demon. Be ye a native migrator or even an invader into these lands of the realm of Millenia. Welcome. I am your host, and I'll be world building long after you've begun to acclimate and fit into the natural realm. So sit back, relax, and by all means enjoy your Storytime Saturday. And as always, on a Storytime Saturday, I'm going to tell you a story, and I'm not going to tell you whether or not it's true or not, real or fiction. It's just a story for you guys to hear. Right? So, talk about stories. Being myself a connoisseur, if you will, of relationship types. I've been in a million of them. At the ripe age of 37. That's my screen age. I'm not telling you how old I really am. For all of you out there, I'm 37. And at the ripe age of 37, I've been in a myriad of relationships. So today's story time, I must say, without too much of a central, is going to be on relationships. Relationships, be they good, be they bad, be they not always for any and everyone to get into. Some people are meant to be alone, better alone, and desire to be alone. So leave them alone. Right? So today's story time, there was a point in time where I was very much sad, alone, depressive, because it took me to the age of 21 to actually get into a relationship. I was a virgin all my life to the age I turned 21, and I just chose to lose my virginity. That's for the hell of it, right? So, at the ripe age of 21, I lost my virginity, and then within 2 years, broke up. So naturally, that ruined the relationship. Got so depressed doing the job and stuff I was getting into at the time that naturally I decided to expand horizons, why don't you say? And I expanded horizons instead of just the preferential, to what my preferences and initial standards were, that I started dating other people outside of what one might particularly say was my preference area. Right. I did that, and as always, when you go against your standards, you get subpar results. Right? Lo and behold, it didn't work out so well. I ended up going back and forth through a multitude of relationships, encountering some of the majority of the same issues here and there. Lack of respect, lack of love, lack of intimacy, lack of reciprocation, and general connection overall. Of course, there were instant gratification times where both I and the partner got instant gratification, but nothing long-term satisfaction-wise. So, as always, each and every one of those myriad of relationships ended up disappearing, one by one and one, until I've just found myself alone with a mirror I hated being with, and thus became distant from even myself. Tried to more so mask the figure of who I was, right? And that sucked. Sucks to suck, but it sucked that I couldn't even really look at myself in the mirror. Because eventually, when I got to that much of a low, depressive point, if you will, that I hated myself, that I couldn't even see myself, I started disassociating myself from existence entirely, going through the motions as if it's not really even me in the present, Not even me there, despite living and walking and breathing and doing things all day long of every day. I just started disassociating from even existing to the point where I was whatever I was doing in that moment. And if I was doing nothing, I was end up beyond nothing until the next scheduled time for me to do something. And it is most unfortunate that that was the reality. And I can't really say definitively, but it might make me feel better to assume that maybe other people go through that too, right? There are definitely people out there that have moments in their life and periods and times in general that get them to such a low where they just feel not even empty, just void. They don't feel empty, they don't feel anything. They are dissociated from not only reality in a realm of delusion, just of presence, because they are so unattached. They have not even necessarily issues attaching, but issues regulating and regulating, and I already forgot the word I was going to use. Regulating, and we'll come back to it. But they have issues effectively regulating and attaching, per se, for lack of a better word, I guess, because they just don't feel anything. They're so low, it doesn't even seem like a place that exists anymore. Not even so low they can't get lower, but it's so low no one even knows what that is anymore. Kind of like the old jokey joke about how people tend to mask themselves in so much layers of makeup and differences, like they're one way here and another way there. They just tend to mask up so much. It's like, I don't even know who you are anymore. Get a wet wipe to the face and half your face looks like a whole different person, right? So I feel like a lot of people get to that point but don't know how to verbalize and express that in a manner that allows them to get the proper help they need to fix that issue that arises. And that is most unfortunate, because articulation is probably one of the worst factors and problems affecting modern society, I'd say. I can't even necessarily say it's just America. I believe it might even be a world issue, right? People that can't articulate themselves can't exactly garnish the proper support and help they need to fix the problems, even if they have the answers, and the proper methods of solution have already been invented and already have been publicized. We can't necessarily connect ourselves to the proper sources and resources we need if we can't articulate ourselves properly in a manner that allows us to gain access to those things. That's why when you go to counseling and therapy and everything, something that these people do often is look for buzzwords. The same way particular interviewers, when you go in for an interview, they tend to look for particular buzzwords, right? It's just something that happens. And if that story about depression and lowness reaches you out there, all the better to you. And if you agree or like what I had to say, go ahead, click the like button. If you have a question, comment, concern, or anything, go ahead down there in the comment section down below. Leave your thoughts, comments, concerns, and questions down there, and I'll get to it on a Q&A Monday. If you happen to know other people or feel like this is how you are, this is how low or you feel or have felt before in the past and just can't articulate, go ahead and share it with a person who needs to hear it so that they can resonate and begin to help unpack that trauma or whatever that is to you, or in relation to the person that is. Share the video with them and for that reason, or just to bring more exposure to this conceptual idea. And of course, if you support me finishing my book, the books in my series, and getting me to publish, press subscribe. And if for some reason you don't just want me to publish my book and you just want to hear my ugly, nasty voice more often and never want to miss any one of my videos, because I will be posting every day until I publish my book, go ahead, click the subscribe and then the bell button, because the bell button will notify you every time I post. But hey, that's just me, your Millenia Mailman, here to deliver the intel to you. Have a good one. Peace out.